Chapter 300. Back on the Heaven Dipper stone pillar, Xiahou Chuan closed his eyes, as if he didn't care about the next match. But the tree wants to be quiet, but the wind does not stop, and everyone's eyes swept over Xiahou Chuan from time to time. This battle gave everyone a new understanding of Xiahou Chuan and the others. They admitted that they had underestimated this session. This year's competition was definitely the strongest since the disappearance of the super experts. The elite prodigies grew too fast and didn't give others a way out. Xiahou Chuan and Qin Feng's strength were similar in the previous session. This session, Qin Feng couldn't even take a palm from Xiahou Chuan. You know, Qin Feng is not a cat or dog. Even if he is not an elite prodigy, he is also a first-rate prodigy, otherwise he will not be in the last stars list tournament, ranked top 20. In the 1480th match, young Master Gale Han Yiming appeared, and his opponent was Yao Hui, who was ranked 18th in the previous stars list. Qin Feng and Yao Hui, one was 17th in the previous session, and the other was 18th in the previous session. But he met young Master Gale Han Yiming. Han Yiming's speed was too fast. At the start of the battle, Yao Hui was surrounded by Han Yiming. The next moment, Yao Hui was kicked out, and his neck was almost broken. It is simply incomparable. Xiahou Chuan only needs one palm to defeat Qin Feng, and Han Yiming only needs one leg to defeat Yao Hui. The gap is too big. Originally, I thought that Li Fuchen had some hope to challenge the 6 young masters. Now it seems that there is no hope at all. I don't know how strong Qi Yuye, who was ranked 28th, and Murong Di, who was ranked 35th, are. Murong Di's strength has been shown. Although it is not too amazing, his opponent is Su Muyu. I guess he only used 60% or 70% of his strength. It should be about the same. As for Qi Yuye, according to my sects news, his strength is absolutely ridiculously strong. I am afraid that he is stronger than Murong Di and Xiahou Chuan. It is said that he has cultivated the Sky Dragon Sword sect's strongest profound class high-tier sword art, Hidden Dragon Sword Art. Hidden Dragon Sword Art? That's really terrifying. This sword technique has unimaginable power and contains the Monarch Sword Dao. I also got the news. I guess that Qi Yuye may be able to fight with young Master Eternal Spring Ting Qingyun. The same Heavens Chosen are also divided into 3, 6, and 9 grades. The Dragon Sword young Master Qi Yuye is undoubtedly the strongest. If his age is similar to the 3 King Stars, the 3 King Stars may not be his opponent. Only the Thunder King Star Situ Lei can fight with him. In the 1550th match, another 2 Sky Prides met. This time, both parties were young Master Dolin, Xiahou Chuan, and young Master Flying Sword, Luo Feiyun. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Xiahou Chuan's palm technique was like a mountain, heavy, domineering, and unparalleled. Luo Feiyun's sword technique was like a white cloud, sharp, ethereal, and unpredictable. 100 moves, 200 moves. After exchanging a full 300 moves, the two sides were still evenly matched. However, everyone could see that young Master Dolin, Xiahou Chuan, seemed to have the upper hand. His palm technique was like a big millstone, constantly crushing Luo Feiyun's sword energy. Luo Feiyun displayed his advantage and used his slightly stronger light body technique to constantly wander around Xiahou Chuan. Xiahou Chuan sneered. His light body technique might not be as good as Luo Feiyun's, but it was impossible to use light body technique to defeat him. His combat style was the same as the immovable King Star, Qi Heng, which was to deal with the myriad of changes. No matter how fast you were, as long as you attacked, you would never be as fast as me. Furthermore, each of his palm strikes could be sent far away and there was no need to get close to the opponent. Xiahou Chuan, it seems like you have improved a lot during these 3 years. Luo Feiyun laughed indifferently. Xiahou Chuan said, "Display your flying sword. I would like to see if your flying sword can defeat me this time." In the previous stars ranking tournament, he was defeated by Luo Feiyun's flying sword. Luo Feiyun was ranked 11th, while he was ranked 15th. As you wish. Luo Feiyun's hand had an additional palm-sized sword. Watch my sword. Luo Feiyun didn't advance and retreated, but he flew in the air. As he flew in the air, the small sword in his hand flew out with a shake of his hand. The small sword's speed was too fast. It was as fast as a beam of light, or like a ripple. At that moment, Xiahou Chuan's vision turned blurry. So fast. Xiahou Chuan was startled. He thought that he was already prepared, but when Luo Feiyun's flying sword appeared, he knew that he had underestimated Luo Feiyun. Break for me! With his eyes wide open, Xiahou Chuan finally saw the small sword, but it was already less than 10 feet away from him. Boom! The air trembled as Xiahou Chuan's palm strike coincidentally collided with the small sword. Celestial 100 hands. Luo Feiyun didn't mind. Behind him, a blurry image appeared. This image had dozens of arms, and each of the arms had a small sword. These small swords seemed real and illusory. With a shake of Luo Feiyun's right hand, dozens of small swords were shot at Xiahou Chuan. For a moment, there seemed to be a peacock spreading its tail feathers in the air, covering Xiahou Chuan. Mountain shaking strike. Xiahou Chuan burst out with his kill move, a mystic-class high-tier kill move. With a palm strike, the vigorous palm force condensed into a mountain peak, a 5 fingers mountain peak. Cling cling clang clang. The small swords were repelled and dispersed. They were all illusory small swords. But a real small sword found a gap and pierced through Xiahou Chuan's right arm. Immediately after, several small swords came from the void and struck Xiahou Chuan's body with blood holes. Xiahou Chuan was defeated. In the previous Stars ranking tournament, no wonder no one was able to dodge young Master Flying Sword, Luo Feiyun's flying sword apart from the thunderous King Star, Citalay. The speed is too fast. Li Fuchen sighed silently. Xiahou Chuan's ability wasn't weak. In a head-on clash, Luo Feiyun wasn't a match for Xiahou Chuan. But in the face of absolute speed, some things weren't that important. In the world of martial arts, there was nothing that couldn't be overcome, only speed couldn't be overcome. This saying wasn't without reason. The battle between the two elite prodigies was an eye-opener for everyone. Xiahou Chuan might have been defeated, but it was a glorious defeat. Without the flying sword, Luo Feiyun actually wasn't a match for him. Battle after battle began, and battle after battle ended. Ni Star fate was very mystical. It was obviously night time, but the peak of the mountain was still as bright as day. One could even see the stars in the sky, twinkling and adding brilliance to MT Star fate. Li Fuchen, who won 30 consecutive matches, had an imposing manner. In the eyes of everyone, apart from Xiahou Chuan and the other elite prodigies from the previous Stars ranking tournament, there weren't many who were a match for Li Fuchen. In order to stop him, only the 3 King Stars, 6 Young Masters, and Wind Snow Fairy and Tri-Absolute Fairy of the 4 Fairies. He didn't disappoint anyone. Since the start of the tournament, Li Fuchen met his first Young Master class character. Young Master Celestial Star, Murongdi. Up until now, no one knew what level Murongdi's ability had reached, because no one was able to force him to reveal his true ability. He was talking cheerfully, and with the iron fan in his hand, he gave off a feeling of confidence and calmness, as though everything was within his control. Li Fuchen, it is already not bad for you to come this far. But if possible, you better admit defeat. I do not wish to reveal my true ability for the time being. Murongdi didn't wish to engage in a meaningless battle as it wouldn't be of any help to him. Furthermore, he had plenty of opponents. It wasn't a good thing to reveal too much now. It was better to keep it for the crucial moments so that it would be effective. Make your move. Li Fuchen spoke indifferently. Kiki. Murongdi's face flashed with a mocking smile and shook his head. Forget it. If I ask you to admit defeat just like this, I reckon you won't be convinced. Since that is the case, I shall let you experience the ability of a young master class. Boom. Murongdi's chi presence exploded and was nearly twice as terrifying as when he fought with Su Muyu. He had obviously activated a 4-star secret technique. Chapter 301. After activating the 4-star secret technique, Murongdi's chi presence was boundless and boundless. Enveloped by this chi presence, Li Fuchen felt as though he was in the starry sky. 4-star secret technique, vast stars secret technique. This secret technique was one of the most famous secret techniques in the Celestial Star sect. It was second only to the secret technique of Star Palace. It was said that most of the secret martial arts of the Celestial Star sect were created by observing the stars at night. Hence, the concept was related to the starry sky. After activating the starry sky secret art, Murong-Di felt that everything in the world was under his control, and everything became insignificant in his eyes. Murong-Di's lips curled into a smile as he said, "Do you still want to compete?" He might not have the confidence to defeat Li Fuchen in a single move, but 3 moves was still possible. This move was enough to completely suppress Li Fuchen. Too strong. Is this Murong-Di's true strength? Peak stage of the Earth realm and his cultivation technique is also at the 16th rank. Coupled with his 4-star secret technique, apart from Rain and Yan Qingwu, I can't think of anyone who can be a match for him. In the face of this aura, I'm afraid I won't even be able to muster the will to fight. Murong-Di's aura was too vast. It had already affected everyone on the Heaven Dipper stone pillars. Of course. With the 16th rank peak state of the True Inferno technique revolving and the completion rank of the 4-star secret technique, Pure Yang Dipper Qi, Li Fuchen's Qi presence was surging and bursting out. From the looks of the situation, Li Fuchen's Qi presence was naturally inferior to Murong-Di, but it wasn't as huge as imagined. In terms of cultivation technique rank, Li Fuchen was half a rank higher than Murong-Di. His opponent was at the 16th level while Li Fuchen was at the peak state of the 16th level. For Star Secret Technique, his opponent didn't seem to have cultivated it to the completion rank, but Li Fuchen had already reached the completion rank. The only thing he lacked was his cultivation, which was 2 levels lower than the other party. Peak of the 16th level. Murong-Di slightly frowned. The other party's talent in cultivation was truly inconceivable. One had to know that there were a total of 21 realms for a top-tier profound tier cultivation technique. With the other party's cultivation speed, wouldn't that mean that he would be able to reach the highest realm by the age of 30 or 40? Formless Dipper Fan. After paying more attention to Li Fuchen, Murong-Di executed his maneuver technique and instantly arrived 10 feet in front of Li Fuchen as though he was teleporting. He then brandished his fan. The surging astral wind was like a dazzling explosion of starlight. The terrifying wind force caused the prodigies on the opposite Heaven Dipper stone pillar to sway, and they hurriedly used their true qi to stabilize their bodies. Li Fuchen, who bore the brunt of the attack, naturally bore 99% of the force. At that moment, Li Fuchen felt the earth shaking and he felt as though he had lost his footing and arrived in the vast starry sky. As expected of one of the 6 young masters, Li Fuchen's body leaned forward while a blazing and violent sword intent surged and burst out. This sword intent was too violent, so violent that it produced a trace of domain power. The area covered by the sword will seem to have turned into a scorching space, seemingly real yet illusory. Boom! When the astral wind and the sword dipper clashed, Li Fuchen and Murong-Di each took over a dozen steps back. Perfection profound rank high rank sword intent? Murong-Di's expression changed several times. According to his expectations, the first move was enough to suppress Li Fuchen, the second move would injure Li Fuchen, and the third move would severely injure Li Fuchen. But Li Fuchen's cultivation technique rank and sword art rank were beyond his imagination. He blocked Murong-Di's move and both of them are equally matched? How is this possible? Everyone was flabbergasted. How could they not understand that Li Fuchen had concealed his strength? Furthermore, he had concealed quite a bit of his strength. Almost every aspect had a small portion of his strength. When all these factors were added together, Li Fuchen's hidden strength was much greater. It was hard to imagine how Li Fuchen cultivated at the same age of 20. Su Mu was a 6-star bone frame, but she was still far from being a match for Murong-Di. At this moment, Li Fuchen's image in everyone's eyes had become profound and unfathomable. But now wasn't the time to make a conclusion. The match between Murong-Di and Li Fuchen had just begun. Concealed his strength? Xiahou Chuan's brows were knitted tightly. He is even stronger. Su Muyu's eyes revealed a strange light. Yan Qingwu had a strange expression on her face. She didn't know how Li Fuchen cultivated. Could he not be a 1-star bone frame, but had an extremely concealed special bone frame? She couldn't help but recall the scene when she first met Li Fuchen. Back then, Li Fuchen wasn't even a match for her. Interesting. Immovable King Star, Qiheng was sizing up this match with interest. Before this, he was only interested in the match between young Master Flying Sword, Luo Feiyun, and young Master Dolin, Xiahou Chuan. His strength isn't bad. A pity that it is probably impossible to defeat Murongdi. Golden Whip King Star, Jin Sudong said indifferently. Thunderous King Star, Situ Lei laughed, everything is possible. Let's watch. His unrivaled strength allowed him to be more objective and wouldn't have any personal thoughts. Regardless of who won or lost, it didn't matter to him. Phaseless Dipper Fan, Bull Rush. Murongdi yelled out and burst out with the finishing move of his fan art. A bundle of Dipper Chi was blasted at Li Fuchen with the speed of a meteor. This fan art was superior in terms of power and speed. Even if it was a small mountain, Murongdi was confident that he could blast a hole in it, let alone a body of flesh and blood. Horn of the Blaze Devil. Executing the Blaze Devil Sword art to the extremity, Li Fuchen's Blaze Devil Sword intent had also reached the extremity. It was also the Horn of the Blaze Devil. At this moment, the Scarlet Horn's shadow was almost materialized as it blasted on the Dipper Chi. Bang boom! The Chi force explosion was deafening. Li Fuchen and Murongdi took over a dozen steps back, and every step would cause the round stage to shake. Murongdi's expression was getting more grave. He didn't want to clash with Li Fuchen head-on anymore and used his light body technique to deal with him. With a higher combat cultivation, he had an advantage when executing his light body technique. His body was moving up and down, left and right. It was a pity that Li Fuchen's combat cultivation might be inferior to Murongdi's, but Li Fuchen's light body technique proficiency was higher. When executing the Black Wind 3 clones, 3 or 4 Li Fuchens were roaming around the round stage. In a split second, it was impossible to determine which one was real and which one was fake. Bang 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 bang. The two of them exchanged moves at lightning speed. In just a short period of time, they had exchanged at least dozens of moves. It was so frequent that it made people dizzy. They actually exchanged so many moves? Everyone didn't blink their eyes as they were afraid they would miss the moment that would decide the victor. Very good. Li Fuchen, you are worthy enough for me to use my kill move. I hope you can withstand this move. Phaseless Return. After exchanging over 100 moves, Murongdi grew impatient and circulated his Qi cultivation technique again. With a ferocious swing of his fan, the Dipper Qi revolved. It was formless and formless, without heaven and earth. A weightless power was born along with the revolving Dipper Qi. Phaseless Return was a Mystic-class high-tier kill move that Murongdi created based on the Phaseless Dipper Fan. This move didn't just have immense power, it also had the weightless power. Once the opponent was enveloped by it, they would lose most of their mobility. It was a move that was extremely hard to dodge. Originally, Murongdi was using this move to deal with the other young masters. Blaze Dragon. Li Fuchen didn't think of dodging and executed his Mystic-class high-tier kill move, Blaze Dragon. A gushing scarlet light was swallowed by the black light sword. As Li Fuchen cleaved down, the scarlet light condensed into a scarlet dragon. It flew out like lightning and clashed with the revolving Dipper Chi. Boom! Like a heavenly thunder igniting the earth fire, the Dipper Chi and scarlet light intertwined. But in between the two, there was a miniature scarlet dragon that was swimming. PFFF. Chapter 302. Murongdi lost? After exchanging over 100 moves, the final result shocked everyone. The winner wasn't young Master Celestial Star, Murongdi, but the rising star, Li Fuchen. Murongdi's strength wasn't weak, but Murongdi had concealed his strength and only erupted at this moment. This was no longer a dark horse to describe Li Fuchen, but a hidden dragon. The hidden dragon did not come out, but once it did, it would shake the world. Apart from the thunderous King Star, Sidlei, the rest of the elite prodigies were shocked. The Golden Whip King Star, Jin Sudong, who previously said that Li Fuchen wasn't a match for Murongdi, had a twitch on his face. He immediately chuckled and said, slightly superior by half a line. He was just lucky to win. The people inside the Heavenly Dipper formation were shocked. and the spectators outside the formation were even more shocked. Ouyang Wenyan, Zhao Wujin, and the rest were dumbfounded. Even though they knew Li Fuchen's ability was formidable, they didn't expect it to be to this extent. Even one of the 6 young masters, Murong Di, was defeated. Celestial Star Sect. The sect leader of the Celestial Star Sect, Murong Badian, had a gloomy expression. Murong Di's defeat was really too unexpected. Before the match, Murong Di's plan was to ensure that the top 10 would advance to the top 5. This meant that at the very least, they had to enter the top 10 and strive to enter the top 5. I lost. Murong Di lowered his head to look at his badly mutilated chest. His eyes were filled with disbelief and anger. He was one of the 6 young masters and enjoyed the glory. He was believed to have hopes of reaching the peak of the reincarnation realm, but he was actually defeated by a 1-star bone frame. Before the competition, his lowest target was the top 10. Impossible, I won't lose. Murong Di stood up and the aura on his body grew even stronger, and it carried a bloody and murderous aura. He was unwilling to fail. He did not want to fail either, especially after losing to Li Fuchen. You still want to fight? Li Fuchen's eyes were cold. He had only used a small portion of his advantage in consciousness. If he wanted to, he could easily injure his opponent. Murong Di, this battle concerns the honor of our 6th young master. Don't fail again. Xiao Chuan said coldly from the top of the heavenly dipper stone pillar. Grinning, Murong Di's aura rapidly turned into the color of blood. Boom! A blood-colored figure suddenly appeared, causing Murong Di's aura to rise to the peak. 4-star secret technique, Cruel Sun Blood Dipper. Under normal circumstances, this secret method was not as good as the 4-star secret method, the Vast Star's secret method. However, if the user was injured or chose to self-harm, it could exert power that surpassed the Vast Star's secret method. That's right, Murong Di possessed 2 4-star secret techniques. Moreover, both 4-star secret techniques had been cultivated to near perfection. Murong Di's body was slightly withered. Strands of blood combined with his true qi transformed into the partial yang blood gang. Murong Di's aura became like that of an evil spirit, possessing a terrifying deterrent force. Those with weak willpower might not even have the courage to face Murong Di. Li Fuchen, die for me. Murong Di turned into a blood rainbow and shot towards Li Fuchen. The iron fan in his hand was dancing with blood-colored dipper chi as he brandished it brazenly. It was still the mystic class high-tier kill move, Phaseless Return. But this time, the Phaseless Return was even more tyrannical, more bloody, and more extreme. It was like a meat grinder that wanted to grind Li Fuchen into a bloody pulp. At the same moment, the wind that carried the blood-colored chi presence blew onto the heaven dipper stone pillars. Those prodigies that were standing on the pillars had a violent change in expression as they quickly circulated their chi to prevent themselves from being affected by the wind and the bloody intent in the wind. Since that is the case, then I shall let you accept your defeat wholeheartedly. Li Fuchen moved. It was impossible to describe Li Fuchen's movements. Li Fuchen's figure seemed to turn illusory as he forcefully cut into the gap of the Phaseless Return. This gap was the flaw of the Phaseless Return. Regular people wouldn't be able to make use of the flaw even if they noticed it. But Li Fuchen could. His powerful awareness allowed him to avoid the strangulation of the dipper chi and arrived at a relatively safe zone. This zone was the blind spot of the Phaseless Return. Everything happened in a split second. Even the thunderous King Star, Citadel, couldn't see the details and simply felt that something was wrong. Horn of the Blaze Devil. Li Fuchen suddenly thrusted his sword at one point of the Phaseless Return. A scarlet horn that was almost materialized pierced through the Phaseless Return and Murong Di's chi protection, piercing through his opponent. Clean and efficient, fierce and violent. At this moment, this was the feeling that Li Fuchen gave off. Murong Di's body was lifted up and he was extremely frightened. He didn't understand what happened. Swish. With a swing of the black light sword, Murong Di was immediately flung away by Li Fuchen. His chest was spurting out blood like a fountain and he had lost all his combat strength. Such powerful awareness. Is this the reason why he was accepted as a personal disciple by the first mystic martial expert? Within the Heaven Dipper Great Array, everyone couldn't see through it. But outside the Heaven Dipper Great Array, all the Reincarnation Realm martial artists and peak-level Heaven Realm martial artists could see it clearly. Ouyang went in and Zhao Wujin looked at each other. Both of them were surprised in their hearts. It was obvious that they couldn't see through Li Fuchen either. This kind of awareness wasn't something that an Earth Realm martial artist should have. He's still lost. Sai, one of the 6 young masters, has been defeated. I wonder who will be the next one. You must be joking. Murong Di is still young and is only 23 years old this year. The other young masters won't be defeated so easily. I am just casually saying. After all, Li Fuchen's performance is too shocking. Everyone indeed didn't think that Li Fuchen could defeat the other young masters. The head of the 6 young masters, Young Master Eternal Spring Tung Qingyun, was ranked 5th in the previous star's ranking. His strength was unfathomable and Li Fuchen was definitely not a match. Young Master Flying Sword, Luo Feiyun, was ranked 11th in the previous star's ranking. His Flying Sword secret technique wasn't in vain and Li Fuchen wouldn't be a match either. Young Master Gale, Han Yiming, was ranked 12th in the previous star's ranking. His light body technique was second only to the Thunderous King Star, Sidolei, and Tri-Absolute Fairy, Jiang Roliu. It was also impossible to lose to Li Fuchen. Young Master Dolin, Xiahou Chuan, was ranked 15th in the previous star's ranking. His combat style was similar to the immovable King Star, Qiheng. It wasn't so easy for Li Fuchen to defeat him. As for Young Master Dragon Sword, Qiyuye, from the previous star's ranking, he was the closest to Murong Di. One was ranked 35th and the other was ranked 28th. But Qiyuye was known to have first-grade innate potential. If it wasn't for his young age, he would be able to compete with the Thunderous King Star, Sidolei. His strength wasn't something that Murong Di could compare with. In comparison, Xiahou Chuan was easier to defeat, at least there was some hope. Too domineering. Beside Zhao Wujin, Zhao Mingyue's face revealed a trace of intoxication. Her heart was beating violently for the first time. This was an unprecedented situation. Murong Batian took a deep breath and tried hard to suppress his displeasure. Shameful. Xiahou Chuan revealed a look of disdain and immediately swept a glance at Li Fuchen with eyes of disdain. After defeating Murong Di, the Heaven Dipper stone pillar beneath Li Fuchen's feet was surging with Heaven Dipper battle chi. It gradually had the form of a giant python and the hissing sound was much louder. 29 consecutive victories, 30 consecutive victories. Li Fuchen's pace didn't stop for a moment. Chapter 303. In the 1677th match, Murong Di was up against Xiahou Chuan. Losing to Li Fuchen seemed to have a huge impact on Murong Di. After just 20 moves, Murong Di was defeated by Xiahou Chuan. But this also indirectly proved Xiahou Chuan's strength. During the battle with Young Master Flying Sword, Xiahou Chuan had the upper hand for a while. Even when facing the Flying Sword secret technique, he was still able to resist for a while. But during the battle with Murong Di, Xiahou Chuan had the upper hand from start to end. His palm art was like a giant millstone. No matter how Murong Di attacked, it would be neutralized, coping with changes by remaining unchanged. This style isn't just for show, but to form your own system. Li Fuchen was very clear about Xiahou Chuan's battle style. Against such people, the effectiveness of light body techniques would be greatly reduced. Unless your speed was so fast that your opponent couldn't react, otherwise, it wouldn't be very effective. Of course, Li Fuchen wasn't a normal person and he had his own way to deal with it. Haha, Murong Batian, it seems like your son Murong Di is just an undeserved reputation. Dolin clan's patriarch, Xiahou Shan mocked. Murong Batian snorted, my son is only 23 this year. Your Dolin clan's Xiahou Chuan is already 26. What is there to compete? Don't be too happy too early. If my son isn't a match for that kid, your Dolin clan's Xiahou Chuan might not be. Xiahou Shan chuckled, you don't have to worry about this. That kid's ability is only slightly better than your son. If he encounters Chuan, he won't be able to win. Even if his awareness is strong, it will be useless against Chuan. Chuan Er's mountain river battle technique is already at completion rank and his combat skills are at perfection rank. Nothing is absolute in this world. Just wait and see. Murong Batian didn't say anything else. In his heart, he really hoped that Li Fuchen could also defeat Xiahou Chuan and suppress the Dolin clan's momentum. 35 consecutive victories. 38 consecutive victories. 39 consecutive victories. Li Fuchen's winning streak was unstoppable. During this period he even defeated a previous Stars ranking tournament's 14th ranker. His formidable ability shocked many people. At the same time, the Heaven Dipper battle chi beneath Li Fuchen's feet had gradually transformed into a giant python. Compared to the gigantic snake form, the gigantic python form was thicker and more powerful. When it coiled around the heavenly Dipper stone pillar, it looked very tyrannical. When Li Fuchen ascended the stage for the 40th time, everyone held their breaths. Because Li Fuchen encountered another young master class figure, young Master Dolin, Xiahou Chuan. The two of them have finally clashed. I wonder if Xiahou Chuan is stronger, or if Li Fuchen is catching up. Li Fuchen used over 100 moves to defeat Murong Di, while Xiahou Chuan used less than 20 moves. It is already clear who is stronger. That might not be the case. When Murong Di burst out with his strength, he was still defeated by Li Fuchen in a single sword. It is obvious that Li Fuchen didn't use his full strength. How would you know that Xiahou Chuan went all out? Furthermore, I didn't understand Li Fuchen's final sword move. No one knows if there are any restrictions. Everyone expressed their opinions, but most of them supported Xiahou Chuan. On the round table, Xiahou Chuan didn't waste any words. After a cold laugh, he brazenly launched his attack. With a palm strike, the boundless palm presence enveloped half of the round table. When enveloped by this palm presence, Li Fuchen felt as though he was being pressed under a millstone. As the millstone revolved, be it his chi or blood, they were all in turmoil. As compared to Murong Di, Xiahou Chuan's strength was indeed much superior. It was mainly because his palm art was too heavy, and when complemented with the 4-star secret technique, mountain river battle technique, it was like adding wings to a tiger, allowing him to control the situation as steady as a mountain. If it was anyone else, before they even made a move, their strength would be reduced by half and they wouldn't be able to contest against the opponent's chi presence and palm presence. Of course, Li Fuchen was an exception. When facing this heavy and tyrannical palm presence, Li Fuchen immediately executed the Mystic class high-tier kill move, Blaze Dragon. A scarlet light swallowed and a sword light formed a scarlet dragon that flew out brazenly. It penetrated the palm presence and clashed with Xiahou Chuan's palm art. On the round table, chi forces shook and clashed. Half of them were scarlet light, while the other half were vigorous chi waves. The sneer on Xiahou Chuan's face intensified. Clashing head-on was his favorite style of combat. He was able to use his heavy palm art to forcefully crush his opponent. When he executed his palm strike, half of the round table was within his attack range. No wonder Murong Di was defeated. The feeling of observing and personally battling was entirely different. Battling with Xiahou Chuan was like facing a vast ocean, towering mountains and precipitous ridges. That overwhelming chi presence and palm presence were too majestic. Light body techniques were indeed useless. After all, a single palm strike from Xiahou Chuan would envelop half of the round table. If I had comprehended a mystic class high-tier light body technique intent, I would be able to break free from his chi presence and palm presence. Li Fuchen didn't spend much effort on his light body technique. His energy was limited and it was impossible for him to take care of every aspect. But he felt that after this Stars ranking tournament, he would be able to properly study his light body technique. As his cultivation level increased, he could obviously feel that his speed of comprehending martial arts was getting faster. Sometimes, when he circulated his chi, some of the martial arts obstacles would naturally vanish. Just like a small stream and a large river. A small stream required the right time and place to flow far. But if the distance was too far, it would still dry up. But a large river had a deep foundation. Wherever it passed, the water would surge violently, allowing it to flow even further. Since that is the case, I can only continue to expose some of the advantages of my awareness. In Li Fuchen's eyes, Xiahou Chuan had a flaw, and that was the wide range of his palm presence. Once the range was wide, it was inevitable that there would be oversights. To a certain extent, the oversights were made up for by the boundless palm presence. When facing a torrential flood, who would have the mood to look for the weakest point of the flood? Even if they had the mood, they wouldn't have the time. But Li Fuchen did. With a sweep of his awareness, the distribution of Xiahou Chuan's palm presence was vivid in his mind. It was like a spider web, and there would always be some weak spots on the surface. What Li Fuchen needed to do was to penetrate the weak spots. Horn of the Blaze Devil. Apart from the Blaze Dragon, Li Fuchen's strongest sword move would be the Horn of the Blaze Devil. The Blaze Dragon was powerful, and the Horn of the Blaze Devil had a concentrated force. The Scarlet Horn shadow was almost materialized as Li Fuchen thrusted with his sword. This sword was brazen, concise, and violent, but it was very effective. Xiahou Chuan's palm presence was like a water jar that had a hole in it, as the palm presence was rapidly weakening. How is this possible? Xiahou Chuan's eyes flashed with doubt and shock. After penetrating Xiahou Chuan's palm presence, Li Fuchen flashed and executed the Blaze Devil Killer Shadow. In a split second, a scarlet cover enveloped Xiahou Chuan. Inside the scarlet cover, Xiahou Chuan could feel the sword dippers that were everywhere. Cling, cling, clang, clang. As though he had 3 heads and 6 arms, Xiahou Chuan's body was emitting dazzling sparks that were 3 feet away. The sword dippers that were slashing over from all directions were shattered by Xiahou Chuan's palm art. The remaining sword dippers were repelled and shattered by the brown radiance that was emitting from Xiahou Chuan's body. Chapter 304. This 4-star secret technique has indeed reduced his flaws to a pitiful extent. Li Fuchen didn't mind that the Blaze Devil Killer Shadow wasn't able to break through Xiahou Chuan's defense. This move basically didn't rely on his awareness. Only sword moves that relied on his awareness were truly hard to defend against, just like the Horn of the Blaze Devil. After taking the initiative, Li Fuchen executed consecutive sword moves. After the Blaze Devil Killer Shadow was the Horn of the Blaze Devil. The Scarlet Horn looked like it was going to pierce through the void and thrust at Xiahou Chuan. Mountain Shaking Strike. Xiahou Chuan was also very powerful. In an instant, he slapped the Scarlet Horned Phantom with his palm. It was the profound rank high-tier killer move, Mountain Shaking Strike. Boom! The Mountain Shaking Strike was similar to the Horn of the Flame Demon. It was extremely concentrated, otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to shake the mountain. When the two collided, a terrifying wave of qi burst out. His consciousness? Xiahou Chuan finally knew what was going on with Li Fuchen and Murongdi's final sword move. Li Fuchen's awareness was extremely powerful and was actually able to instantly see through the flaw of Murongdi's kill move. Li Fuchen then penetrated Murongdi's body with his sword. Back then, Li Fuchen assumed that after Murongdi's strength burst out, his kill move became unstable, which gave Li Fuchen the opportunity to exploit. Now that he thought about it, it was because Li Fuchen's awareness was too powerful. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for Xianxia to break his mountain-shifting palm with a single strike, seize the initiative, and even use the same strike to resist his mountain-shaking strike. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Xiahou Chuan's palm art might be extremely heavy and pressuring, but Li Fuchen's sword art was crafty and would always be able to find the flaws in Xiahou Chuan's palm art. Xiahou Chuan's full-strength palm art was only 70% or 80% effective and was actually being suppressed by Li Fuchen. Everyone was dumbfounded. Suppressing Murongdi was one thing, but now, even Xiahou Chuan was being suppressed. Xiahou Chuan's palm technique was clearly more tyrannical. Xiahou Shan, the situation of your clan's disciples doesn't seem too good. Murongbatian smiled at Xiahou Shan. Xiahou Shan said coldly, "What's the rush? The show has only just begun." Murky Water Palm Technique. Xiahou Shan had barely finished speaking when Xiahou Chuan's palm stance changed from the heavy mountain shifter palm technique to the soft and murky waters palm technique. The muddy water palm, as its name implied, was extremely muddy, causing others to be unable to see through it. Moreover, the palm force was soft and overbearing, and it was adept at penetrating. Did you change your palm technique? Li Fuchen was a little envious. Xiahou Chuan was 26 years old this year and had 6 more years of cultivation time than him. Naturally, he could cultivate one more mystic class high-tier palm technique. Unfortunately, it's useless. With Li Fuchen's awareness, how could he not see through a mystic class high-tier palm art? Furthermore, Xiahou Chuan's palm art wasn't even at the completion rank yet. Fiery dragon. With a slash of his sword, a crimson dragon danced in the air, stirring up winds and waves. It pierced through the muddy waters and arrived before Xiahou Chuan. Left with no choice, Xiahou Chuan once again used the mountain shaking strike to defeat the scarlet dragon. Don't tell me I'm going to exhaust his true energy just like that? Xiahou Chuan frowned. 2 years ago, he had already broken through to the peak level of the Earth realm. His cultivation was abnormally vigorous, while Li Fuchen was only at the 8th level of the Earth realm. Li Fuchen's qi was almost half of Xiahou Chuan's. In a protracted battle, Li Fuchen wouldn't be a match for him. The Dolin clan's clansmen are adept at combat. This Xiahou Chuan isn't just stronger than Murong Di, his combat skills are outstanding too. If I use my awareness to fight with Murong Di, I won't be able to determine the victor within 1,000 moves. Furthermore, it will exhaust too much qi. Li Fuchen didn't intend to expose too much of his awareness for now. Furthermore, his body's reaction was almost at its limit. No matter how strong his awareness was, if his body's reaction couldn't keep up, it would be much less effective. It wasn't without reason that the amount of water a wooden barrel could hold depended on the shortest piece of wood. It is up to you now. Li Fuchen made his decision. Taking a deep breath, the surface of Li Fuchen's skin suddenly burst out with a layer of fine dark red light. This dark red light was abnormally horrific. When it enveloped Li Fuchen's body, it made Li Fuchen's entire body emit an invincible aura and willpower. Break! Li Fuchen's speed increased drastically, so did his sword's speed. It was the same move, Horn of the Blaze Devil, but the power was more than 30% stronger. With the help of his fearsome physical strength, the scarlet horn pierced through the void and instantly arrived in front of Xiahou Chuan. Mystic class high-tier body refinement intent. Xiahou Chuan was overwhelmed with shock. Bang! This time, Xiahou Chuan wasn't able to perfectly defend against Li Fuchen's attack and was sent flying. His qi and blood were in turmoil and he nearly vomited a mouthful of fresh blood. Mystic class high-tier body refinement intent. Everyone on the Heaven Dipper stone pillars were shocked. How did this Li Fuchen cultivate? How was he so strong in every aspect? His sword art, awareness, light body technique, qi refinement technique, secret technique, and now even his body refinement technique. He didn't have any shortcomings. In terms of perfection, not even the 3 king stars could compare. Hidden blood body refinement intent? Ouyang Wenin and Zhao Wujin looked at each other in dismay. The hidden blood body refinement technique was one of the strongest body refinement techniques in the Azure Water sect. But even most of the Heaven Realm martial artists weren't able to cultivate it to the state of intent. Monster! The previous star's ranking's 48th ranker, Yunyu muttered. During the contest for the Heaven Dipper stone pillars, he even challenged Li Fuchen. He was confident because he comprehended the mystic class high-tier body refinement intent. But from the looks of it now, Li Fuchen didn't want to lower himself to the same level as him, otherwise, he would have been beaten black and blue. Interesting. Immovable King Star Chi Heng's eyes burst out with radiance. He didn't care about Yunyu, but he was rather surprised that Li Fuchen comprehended the mystic class high-tier body refinement intent. Li Fuchen had already cultivated the hidden blood body refinement technique to the extremity a long time ago, but he hadn't comprehended the intent yet. After comprehending the intent, Li Fuchen's body quality had a drastic increase. If qi was water, then the body would be a wooden barrel. The wooden barrel was firm and could withstand the willful impact of the water. In addition to that, after activating the hidden blood body refinement intent, Li Fuchen felt his entire body was filled with explosive power. His movement speed and sword speed had a drastic increase. To a certain extent, the body quality could also be considered as combat cultivation. After all, when it came to a human's movements, the body quality played a crucial role, and it wasn't entirely due to the strength of one's qi. With the burst of his body quality, how could Xiahou Chuan be a match for Li Fuchen? He was sent flying by Li Fuchen in a single blade. Stomping on the ground, Li Fuchen's speed burst again and thrust at Xiahou Chuan. Xiahou Chuan let out a frenzied roar and forcefully raised his palm to clash with the scarlet horn. Unable to suppress the mouthful of fresh blood, Xiahou Chuan opened his mouth and vomited fresh blood. Defeat! The consecutive attacks caused Xiahou Chuan's qi to be on the verge of collapsing. Right at this moment, the scarlet horn burst forth again and penetrated his body. His ending was similar to Murongdi's. Too powerful. Chapter 305. A person's energy was limited, and it was impossible to take care of everything. However, if one could take care of everything, then one's battle prowess would naturally be extremely powerful in the same realm. Body refinement techniques didn't just increase a martial artist's physical defense, it also had a significant increase in strength. Perhaps a few tens of thousands of kg of physical strength was nothing compared to an 8th-level Earth realm martial artist qi. But with a few tens of thousands of kg of physical fitness, it allowed Li Fuchen's body to react much faster. His body's burst strength was also much stronger, all of which increased his combat strength. But once one comprehended the body refinement true intent, then the increase in strength would be terrifying. The body refinement true meaning's protection was enough to raise a martial artist's physical defense to a whole new level. In a situation where the martial artist's strength was similar, the opponent wouldn't even be able to break through the defense. In addition, his body's reaction and explosive power would also be enhanced by a level under the stimulation of the body refining true meaning. The body refinement true meaning was a little like the combination of the body's willpower and the profound mysteries of the body refinement technique. Li Fuchen was already extremely strong. Once he burst out with body refinement true meaning, his strength was at least 20% or 30% stronger. If Li Fuchen utilized his body refinement intent during the fight with Murongdi, he would probably be able to defeat Murongdi in 1 or 2 sword moves. Murongdi's pupils shrank. He didn't know if he should rejoice in other people's misfortune or be sad. Xiahou Shan, what did I say just now? To be honest, Murongbadian is also very surprised by Li Fuchen's comprehensive, but after all, he is shedding body realm martial artist. Li Fuchen is amazing. Just a junior, the most important thing at this moment is to ridicule Xiahou Shan. Xiahou Shan's expression was gloomy, feeling extremely humiliated. Winning or losing was a small matter, but face-slapping was a big deal. After defeating Xiahou Chuan, Li Fuchen completed his 40 consecutive victories. The moment Lin Yun returned to the Heavenly Dipper stone pillar, the Heavenly Dipper battle chi wrapped around the pillar had completely transformed into the form of a python. The scales on its body flickered, looking extremely realistic. Its fist-sized eyes even emitted a faint glow. 40 wins in a row was a very good result. At present, there are only 10 left who have reached 40 consecutive victories, namely the 3 King Stars, 4 of the 6 Young Masters, 2 of the 4 Fairies, and Li Fuchen. 41 consecutive wins, 42 consecutive wins, 45 consecutive victories. Li Fuchen's winning streak was extremely ferocious and almost no one was able to block a single sword from him. In everyone's opinion, Li Fuchen's ability was already certain to be in the top 10 of this tournament. The only problem was how high his ranking would be. Was it 9th, 10th, or even better? Of course, every time he climbed up a rank, the difficulty would increase by a level. Among the 6 young masters, Murongdi and Xiahou Chuan were not considered strong. The remaining 4 were the true experts. The 2,500th match. Rumble. Li Fuchen and young master flying sword Luo Feiyun's Heaven Dipper stone pillars sank at the same time. It's Luo Feiyun's turn. If Luo Feiyun can't hold on, then except for Cheng Qingyun, the head of the 6 young masters, the other young masters will be in danger. I don't think so. The Dragon Sword young master Qiyuye is not a vegetarian. Gale young master Han Yiming's movement technique is also very frightening. Only the thunderous king star Situ Lei and the three absolute fairy Jiang Ruoliu can compare to him. Let's wait and see. Everyone held their breath and stared at Luo Feiyun and Li Fuchen. A phantom flashed, and Luo Feiyun appeared on the round platform. Light merit movement technique is actually an advantage of Luo Feiyun. On the ranking of light merit, he can at least rank in the top 5. Looking at Li Fuchen opposite, Luo Feiyun admired, "Li Fuchen, people who can make me admire, there are not many, you are one of them. This battle, regardless of victory or defeat, I am quite honored." In terms of sword technique, he thinks that he is not as good as Li Fuchen, so he can only rely on Flying Sword's secret technique. Flying Sword secret technique is the most difficult 4-star secret technique of High Heaven Sword sect. It is very demanding on consciousness, and it is also very demanding on the spirit will. Among the young generation of High Heaven Sword sect, only he has cultivated the Flying Sword secret technique to the realm of perfection. Even, faintly beyond the realm of perfection, began to have their own unique insights, and opened up a different path. I am also honored. Li Fuchen nodded. Be careful. Luo Feiyun directly sacrificed a small sword. He didn't think about sword technique with Li Fuchen, which is undoubtedly a small skill in front of an expert. Shio. In the void, a cold light flashed. Luo Feiyun sent out a flying sword. Head to one side, Li Fuchen easily avoided. What a terrifying consciousness! Luo Feiyun's eyes narrowed. Without fighting with Li Fuchen, it is difficult to really understand how terrible Li Fuchen's consciousness is. In the last star list great competition, only Thunder King star Situ Lei could dodge his flying sword head-on, because his flying sword was too fast. This session, Luo Feiyun thought that except for a few people, no one could dodge his flying sword, but did not expect Li Fuchen to do it easily. Xiao. Luo Feiyun's figure flickered, and the small sword in his hand shot out quickly. In the blink of an eye, he shot out a dozen small swords. Each small sword was fast to the extreme, comparable to the electric flint. Even some small swords collided with each other, instantly changing the angle. Greatly increased the difficulty of dodging. Several figures appeared, and Li Fuchen seemed to have a clone, and once again dodged Luo Feiyun's flying sword attack. Well, I have to see, how long can you dodge? The flying sword attack was dodged one after another, and Luo Feiyun was a little annoyed. Heaven Man 100 Hands. Behind the back appeared a vague phantom. This phantom has dozens of arms, each arm holding a phantom small sword. As Luo Feiyun's right hand shook, dozens of small swords shot to Li Fuchen. For a time, the void seems to have a peacock. The peacock is opening the tail, covering most of the round table. Worthy is Flying Sword young master. Li Fuchen put the profound wind 3 transformations light merit to the limit. With a strong consciousness, the figure flashed again and again. Because the speed was too fast, half of the round table was Li Fuchen's phantom, and at first glance, it seemed that dozens of Li Fuchen appeared at the same time. Ding 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 ding. The small swords slammed on the round table, some collapsed, and some were really small swords, bounced off the round table. Even my Heaven Man 100 Hands avoided? Luo Feiyun was shocked. His celestial 100 Hands had already calculated all of Li Fuchen's escape routes and dodging routes. Logically speaking, it was absolutely flawless. He couldn't understand how Li Fuchen dodged it. Unfortunately, what he didn't know was that in the eyes of Li Fuchen, the trajectory of the flying sword was clear, and there was a priority, so in an instant he calculated his own movement trajectory, how to avoid the most dangerous flying sword, how to avoid some dead ends. As long as he did not put himself in a dead end, the flying sword could not hurt him. Feeling that it was enough, Li Fuchen was ready to launch a counterattack. If you can take my last move, I will automatically admit defeat. Luo Feiyun's imposing manner broke out to the limit, and the phantom behind him suddenly solidified a lot. The next moment, Luo Feiyun put his hands together and pushed towards Li Fuchen. Heaven Man 100 Hands, Sword Rain. Xiao. It is impossible to describe how many flying swords Luo Feiyun sent out at once. These flying swords are real and fake, but without exception, they are all very sharp, giving the feeling of a sword rain. Chapter 306. Li Fuchen was indeed unable to dodge this move, because for this move, it was useless to rely on one's awareness. One had to be able to keep up with the body's reaction. And even if he stimulated the concealed blood refinement body true meaning, the body reaction was not enough to dodge this move, unless his cultivation base could go up a level and reach the 9th level of the Earth Fiend realm. Since I can't dodge it, I'll take it head on. Taking a deep breath at lightning speed, Li Fuchen shook the black light sword in his hand and slashed out. A red cover expanded. Ding ding dang dang. The red cover enveloped Li Fuchen as well. The flying swords that entered the red cover were struck down and scattered by the sword dipper force. For a time, the world was filled with the sound of metal colliding, and it was dense and incessant. Shio! All of a sudden, 3 small swords formed a triangular formation and shot at Li Fuchen. The 3 small swords were extremely fast. They broke through the blockade of the sword essence and seemed to have come from the void. 1 true and 2 false. Li Fuchen squinted his eyes and pinched the real small sword with the index and middle fingers of his left hand. As for the other 2 fake small swords, although they were fake, they also had power. Li Fuchen shook his right hand and 2 sword lights scattered them. Buzz. The real small sword force is very huge. If Li Fuchen has not inspired the concealed blood refining body true meaning, it is estimated that it cannot be clamped, the fingers must be broken. Despite this, Li Fuchen also flew back, offsetting the impact of the flying sword. Clamped. Luo Feiyun was stunned. What kind of awareness and eyesight was needed to clamp his flying sword? Moreover, even if he did manage to clamp it, it would be difficult to clamp it firmly if he didn't have a brilliant unloading technique. Li Fuchen, you win. Luo Feiyun smiled bitterly. He believed that he could still put up a fight, but there was a 90% chance that he would lose in the end. There was no need to waste time. Thank you for letting me win. Li Fuchen shook his hand and threw away the small sword. Even Luo Feiyun can't beat Li Fuchen. The situation seems to be getting weirder. Indeed, 3 of the 6 young masters have already been defeated by Li Fuchen. I wonder who will be the 4th. That's hard to say. Humph, I don't believe he can keep winning. There will be a time when he loses. Everyone discussed animatedly. In the 2700th match, Li Fuchen met with Wind Snow Fairy Su Lin. Boom. As soon as she came on, Su Lin broke out with an amazing momentum. The aura of a blizzard instantly enveloped the entire round platform. On the Heaven Dipper stone pillars around the round platform, all the geniuses from the various sects could feel the bone-piercing coldness. One by one, they hurriedly activated their protective chi to resist the cold. A technique of the 17th level. Everyone was shocked. There is no doubt that Wind Snow Fairy Su Lin has cultivated the profound level top-rank cultivation method to the 17th layer realm. Otherwise, even if the cultivation base reaches the half-step Heavenly Dipper realm, the chill in true chi will not be so terrifying. At most, the sense of oppression is stronger. The peak of the Earth Fiend realm, the 17th layer of the cultivation technique, simply comparing true spirit, I am afraid that the 3 king stars are slightly inferior to Su Lin. Wind Snow Godly Palm. 4-star secret technique inspired, Su Lin shot a palm to Li Fuchen. With this palm shot out, the extremely terrifying cold wind blew on the round platform. Before the wind arrived, the round table around Li Fuchen was already covered with frost. If it was replaced by Murong Di, it would definitely be greatly affected. If it was replaced by Xiahou Chuan and Luo Feiyun, it would not be much better. Profound level top-rank cultivation technique, the 16th layer and the 17th layer seem to be a layer apart, but the gap is very big. 3 years ago, Su Lin was ranked 15th in the star list. 3 years later, her strength surpassed many people and was a strong competitor for the top 5. Very strong. Li Fuchen displayed Flame Demon Sword art and split the cold wind. His cultivation technique is a fiery cultivation technique, Burning Heaven True Merit. Although the cultivation base is not high, the cultivation technique realm is high, reaching the 16th layer apex. The cold resistance ability can be ranked at least in the top 10, plus concealed blood refining body true meaning, the cold resistance ability can be ranked at least in the top 5. Since there is no problem with the cold resistance ability, then he only needs to fight with Su Lin. Horn of Flame Demon. Split the cold wind. Li Fuchen's second move followed closely, and the speed of the move was even faster than Su Lin, who took the first move. Red One-Horn Void Shadow is almost solid and runs through Su Lin. Ho ho! The cold aura emitted by the whole body was penetrated. Su Lin whispered. The right hand condensed a cold chi mass toward the red one-horned void shadow. Boom! The white chi strength broke out wildly, which is the phenomenon caused by the strong collision of hot true chi and cold true chi. Under the impact of the white chi strength, Li Fuchen retreated more than 20 steps, while Su Lin only retreated a dozen steps. On the attack, the two are similar, but on the combat cultivation base, naturally Su Lin is strong. Facing the impact of chi strength, Su Lin's resistance is undoubtedly a lot stronger. Of course, Li Fuchen did not eat a loss at all. With concealed blood refining body true meaning, his body chi and blood are very stable. On the other hand, Su Lin, there was a flush on her face. Although it only appeared for a moment, it was enough to show that Su Lin's chi and blood appeared a little fluctuating. Take another sword from me. Saving the time to calm chi and blood, Li Fuchen figure flashed, a sword broke through the air, and the red one-horned void shadow expanded a few points. It seems to be stronger than before. The more he fought, the more Li Fuchen felt that there seemed to be some strength to break out of the body. Boom boom boom. The two fought dozens of strokes. From the scene, it seems that Su Lin is better, but the discerning people know that if this continues, Su Lin will lose. In a situation where their strength was about the same, it would be extremely foolish to fight head-on against someone with extremely high attainments in conjoined body techniques. But Su Lin can't help it. The chill in her true spirit can't help Li Fuchen at all. On consciousness and light merit movement technique, she is also inferior to Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen wants to fight with her. She can't hide. Wind, snow connecting heaven. Aware that the situation is getting worse and worse, Su Lin is a little impatient, and the real killing move broke out. This trick is a combination of profound level high-rank killing move and cultivation technique. Su Lin's cultivation palm technique is Wind Snow Divine Palm, and the cultivation technique is Wind Snow Divine Merit. The two are originally complementary, and the profound level high-rank killing move Wind Snow Connecting Heaven created by Su Lin is a very extreme move, which can burst out more true spirit in an instant. The consequence is that it will produce a short period of weakness, just like a person who has too much strength. Rumble. The icy cold gale intensified by several folds and blasted towards Li Fuchen. Flame Dragon. In the void, the red dragon danced, and immediately plunged into the cold wind. The white chi strength, with a destructive posture, radiated in all directions. Heavenly Dipper Stone Pillar. Several people were blown down, one by one, true spirit, and returned to the Heavenly Dipper Stone Pillar. Was in the center of the round table, where the white chi strength is the most dense, a figure flies out. It's Li Fuchen. Su Lin's trick is too powerful, and it also has a rotating force, like a blizzard that has been strengthened 10 times. Li Fuchen, give me defeat. Su Lin, who should have been in a period of weakness, suddenly rushed out of the white chi strength and blasted towards Li Fuchen. Half-step Heavenly Dipper Realm. Someone's pupil shrank and said. Chapter 307. Half-step Heavenly Dipper Realm? Li Fuchen frowned. Su Lin's cultivation technique realm is ridiculously high, reaching the 17th layer realm, and now even the cultivation base has stepped into the half-step Heavenly Dipper realm. It is not an exaggeration to say that she is the 4th King Star. I am afraid that in addition to the 3 King Star, only Eternal Spring Young Master Tung Qingyun and 3 Absolute Fairy Jiang Ruoliu can compete with it. Dragon Sword Young Master Qi Yuye can compete with it, but it is still unknown. With an amazing cold wind, Su Lin slapped Li Fuchen with a palm. The same palm, now the power is more than 1 or 2. The whistling wind had a trace of pale blue in it. It was like a pale blue enraged dragon that was blasting at Li Fuchen. Facing the strong wind dragon, Li Fuchen smashed out with a sword, red light swallowed, red dragon flying. Hong! The dazzling red light and light blue light broke out, and immediately, the white qi strength spread. This time, Li Fuchen is clearly at a disadvantage. The whole person is like being struck by lightning, and it is upside down. And Su Lin just shook the body and did not retreat a step, making a breakthrough in the midst of battle. As expected of the wind snow fairy. In fact, it is normal. Su Lin's cultivation technique realm is one of the best, and the cultivation technique realm is high. The cultivation base breakthrough is naturally fast. Gee, Li Fuchen's luck is really bad. Now Su Lin, except for the Three Kings star, no one can win her. Su Lin's breakthrough caused an uproar. Outside the heavenly dipper great array, Ouyang Wentian and Zhao's endless faces are not very good. In their view, Li Fuchen should be able to go further. Who can think of it, Su Lin will break through. Wind Snow Sect Sect Master with a smile, he was worried before, and now there is no worry. On the round table, the situation is reversed. Before, Li Fuchen forced Su Lin to fight hard, now it is Su Lin forcing Li Fuchen to fight hard. Hong hong hong. The white qi strength broke out wildly, and Li Fuchen retreated, almost around half of the round table. Wind and snow heaven. Su Lin screamed and launched the killing move again. As her hands pushed out, the cold wind turned into several light blue dragons, sweeping. The pressure of the majestic ice cold made Li Fuchen's qi and blood stiff and true spirit slow. At this moment, Li Fuchen even had the impulse to stimulate bronze sword essence. Just as Li Fuchen was impulsive, the body's true qi suddenly burst out, and a will to burn the sky broke out and integrated into the true qi. True Inferno Technique, 17th level. At the crucial moment, Li Fuchen's cultivation technique rank increased by another level and broke through to the 17th rank. The 17th layer of Burning Heaven True Qi, how terrible, produced a hot aura, even made Li Fuchen appear with a circle of fiery red halo, instantly dispelling the chill. The next moment, the 17th layer of Burning Heaven True Qi, transformed into pure Yang Astral Qi, Li Fuchen was shrouded in a bright yellow light, and a sword slashed out. Crackle! The crimson dragon swept out and tangled with several light blue dragons. After a few breaths, the red dragon and the light blue dragon exploded at the same time. You've made a breakthrough in your cultivation technique? Su Lin's brow picked up, and her face was full of surprise and shock. What? Li Fuchen also broke through? This is too exaggerated. The 17th layer of profound level peak rank cultivation technique, the vast majority of Heavenly Dipper realm martial artists are at this level, only a few can cultivate to the 18th or 19th layer. The shock of everyone is no less than Su Lin. The two people who broke through both broke through again, and the scene was much more magnificent than before. However, Su Lin's physical quality is not as good as Li Fuchen after all. In the case of similar strength, Su Lin is much stronger than Li Fuchen. Every time she fights hard, there will be a trace of shock. Her qi and blood and true spirit. The time is short, and it will inevitably reveal flaws. After hundreds of strokes, Su Lin's movements were a little sluggish. Li Fuchen's eyes flashed, and the Horn of Flame Demon Sword move was displayed. Puff the red-colored one-horned void shadow penetrated Su Lin's body, protecting true spirit, and pierced the other's shoulder. Boom! A palm smashed the red-colored one-horned void shadow. Su Lin vomited blood and flew back, pale. I lost. She was injured, and it was impossible for her to be Li Fuchen's opponent, and it was decent to admit defeat. You let me. Li Fuchen nodded. In the battle with Su Lin, he has almost exhausted himself except for the Bronze Sword Essence secret technique. But now, with the Burning Heaven True Merit breaking through to the 17th layer, his means have increased. After all, the cultivation technique realm has broken through a layer, and the reaction will increase a lot. The reason why I just fought with Su Lin is actually to hone the 17th layer of Burning Heaven True Merit and consolidate it. The 2883rd game, Su Lin against Xiahou Chuan. With a palm, Su Lin sent Xiahou Chuan flying. This is enough to prove that how powerful Su Lin is now, and that Xiahou Chuan is not a level. Li Fuchen, who can defeat Su Lin, is undoubtedly more powerful. Except for the cultivation base, there are almost no shortcomings. For a time, everyone is very emotional. Before the game, no one thought that Li Fuchen, the king of dark horses, would emerge. So far, Li Fuchen has been through all the way and has not been defeated. Whether it is the top of the star list or the young master-level giant, no one can stop his footsteps. Maybe he can go further. The 2992nd game. Li Fuchen vs. Gale Young Master Han Yiming. Han Yiming is under a lot of pressure. Before Li Fuchen broke through, he still had the confidence to fight with Li Fuchen, but after Li Fuchen broke through, he had no confidence at all. Hey, Han Yiming's speed was extremely fast. Like Li Fuchen, Han Yiming had already cultivated the Mystic Class Mid-Tier Light Body Technique to completion. In terms of Light Body Technique attainment, he and Li Fuchen were the true number one. Tri-Absolute Fairy Jiang Ruoliu and Luo Feiyun were slightly inferior to the two of them. However, Jiang Ruoliu's cultivation base is half-step Heavenly Dipper realm, so in general, Light Body Merit and Han Yiming are similar. Li Fuchen is similar to Luo Feiyun. Like a gust of wind, Han Yiming turns around Li Fuchen quickly, and the entire round table is his figure. Violent Wind 100 change. Han Yiming didn't even try to test it, and directly broke out a killing move. This kill move was extremely compatible with his light body technique. With a point of his finger, an endless violent wind was mixed with a dense void finger shadow that was violently attacking Li Fuchen. Black Wind 3 change display. Li Fuchen's figure is also more, including two clones that are almost the same as the true body. Perhaps Li Fuchen's speed wasn't as fast as Han Yiming, but Li Fuchen's awareness was far beyond Han Yiming's. This allowed Li Fuchen to make the most effective movement. Every movement seemed to have gone through thousands of calculations and were intricately linked. Crackle and rattle. On the round table, dozens of Han Yiming and dozens of Li Fuchen fight. Chi strength explosion sound is continuous. Shio. The moment when a true spirit is about to be exhausted, Han Yiming points at Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen's figure flashes, avoids this finger, and thrusts the profound light sword from an incredible angle. Han Yiming is shocked. The opponent's sword is too mysterious, calculating all his retreat. The sword chi penetrates the back. Han Yiming flies out. Chapter 308. Qingwu Fairy Yan Qingwu, Heavenly Star Young Master Murong Di, Dolin Young Master Xiahou Chuan, Wind Snow Fairy Su Lin, and Gale Young Master Han Yiming. As of now, Li Fuchen had already defeated 5 young masters and fairies. As for Su Muyu, Li Fuchen might not have encountered her yet, but Su Muyu was once defeated by Murong Di and naturally wasn't a match for Li Fuchen. Therefore, it wouldn't affect him if they encountered each other. After defeating young Master Gale Han Yiming, Li Fuchen's prowess was like a rainbow. Standing on the Heaven Dipper stone pillar, his body was as straight as a sword, giving off a sharp sword chi feeling. With the round table opposite the dragon sword young Master Qi Yuye, one in the south and one in the north, faintly produced a clamp. The stars ranking tournament would get more intense the further it went. Mount Star Fate and the Big Dipper array seemed to have a mind of their own. They controlled the pace of the competition. Although there were fierce battles in the early stages, the frequency was very low. There were very few battles between the top geniuses. The 3200th match, Young Master Eternal Spring Teng Qingyun against Young Master Gale Han Yiming. Teng Qingyun's weapon is a dark green bamboo pole. The bamboo pole is like wood, like gold, like a work of art. Han Yiming, relying on his lightness skill, flashed around Teng Qingyun, waiting for an opportunity to attack. But Teng Qingyun forced him to flee in a sorry state with just one move. As the head of the 6 young masters, Teng Qingyun is the top in all aspects. The dark green bamboo pole in his hand seems to have a life. With a casual wave, the air strength in the void is unstoppable. Like spring has come, all things grow, endless. Perfect level profound level high rank martial art. Li Fuchen was shocked. How can he not see that Teng Qingyun has raised the true meaning of this martial art to the realm of perfection, and every move is very perfect? coupled with his cultivation at the peak stage of the Earth realm, be it the degree of subtlety or the prowess, it was extremely terrifying. Overgrown vegetation. On the round table, after 5 moves, Teng Qingyun's killing move broke out. The dark green bamboo pole in his hand turned into a lush bamboo pole shadow, covering Han Yiming, who was constantly dodging. Han Yiming spat out a mouthful of blood and fell back. He had been defeated in an instant. In the 3500th game, Teng Qingyun and Su Lin met. This battle between the two of them was extremely intense and was even more intense than Li Fuchen's battle. Su Linzhan cultivation base is high, the cultivation method is high, the momentum is threatening, the blizzard-like chi strength, toward Teng Qingyun. Although Teng Qingyun's cultivation base and cultivation method realm are not as high as Su Lin, Teng Qingyun's martial arts realm is higher, and Teng Qingyun's consciousness is obviously higher than others, otherwise, it is impossible to defeat Han Yiming in 6 moves. Pu piu piu piu. The shadow of the bamboo pole is agile and swift, and it explodes a group of wind and snow. But for a long time, Teng Qingyun's body protecting innate qi is also covered with a thin layer of frost, and the innate qi is much slower. Wind and snow cover the sky. With the cultivation base breaking through to the half-step Heavenly Dipper realm, Su Lin has almost no sequelae. In an instant, the violent wind and snow qi strength hit Teng Qingyun. Good timing. Teng Qingyun's expression was solemn. The dark green bamboo pole in his hand was suddenly dyed with a layer of purple. The purple was bright and enchanting. Break! Teng Qingyun screamed, and the purple bamboo pole, like a hot knife through butter, penetrated the wind and snow, and pointed to Su Lin's body protection. The purple qi strength is like a needle tip, and it penetrates Su Lin's body protecting innate qi and shoots into her body. Blood spurted out, and Su Lin retreated. Profound level top rank martial art? Su Lin was very surprised. Teng Qingyun did not take advantage of the victory to pursue, slowly said, "Yes, I have this martial art, called Purple Qi Divine Needle, although I have not yet cultivated the true meaning, but it has already reached great accomplishment. Breaking your body protecting innate qi is easy." Profound level top rank martial art of the great accomplishment realm? Everyone exclaimed. Profound level top rank martial art, as the name implies, is the most powerful in profound level martial art. In today's era of Earth level martial art scarcity, profound level top rank martial art is supreme. Profound level top rank martial art of the great accomplishment realm, although it has not yet comprehended the true meaning, but the innate qi operation method is mysterious. It can be seen that Teng Qingyun's Purple Qi Divine Needle martial art can condense a lot of innate qi into a line, and break the body protecting innate qi like nothing, let alone Su Lin. It is estimated that even the 3 king stars are not willing to directly take a blow. Worthy is the head of the 6 young master, actually cultivating the profound level top rank martial art to the great accomplishment realm. Li Fuchen secretly admired. Profound level high rank martial art is always profound level high rank martial art. Even if you comprehend the true meaning, the power is greatly increased, and in terms of moves, it is not as good as profound level top rank martial art. Profound level top rank martial art, on the move, the mystery has reached an extreme. Great, this child's martial art achievements almost catch up with me. Zhao Enlist a bitter smile. He is Heavenly Dipper Realm Peak Cultivation Base, and now he just comprehends the profound level top rank martial art true meaning. Ouyang Wentian said, "This child is one of the top few people in this era. It is normal to have this martial art achievement." Compared with Zhao Enlist, Ouyang Wentian was surprised, but not too surprised. In their time, the top of the people, as long as they are not dead, they are now shedding body realm middle rank or even high rank cultivation base, and he is only shedding body realm second layer cultivation base. The gap is evident. And Zhao Wujin got the whole continent, which is nothing. At the beginning of Azure Billow sect, it was just an ordinary gold true disciple. It is naturally hard to imagine the horror of the top heavens chosen. The 3650th game, 3 Absolute Fairy Jiang Ruoliu against Flying Sword Young Master Luo Feiyun. In the face of Jiang Ruoliu, the head of the four fairies, Luo Feiyun did not dare to be careless, and the first time to open the distance, Flying Sword's secret technique broke out. Jiang Ruoliu, who has a half-step Heavenly Dipper realm cultivation base, has an amazing imposing manner, and her imposing manner, with a trance-intent domain, Luo Feiyun's Flying Sword's secret technique, this is not a waste, but at this moment, it is like losing the head. Obviously Jiang Ruoliu did not move, but did not hit her once. Illusion technique? Li Fuchen's eyes narrowed. Also a top heavens chosen, Jiang Ruoliu's illusion technique, naturally can't make Luo Feiyun fall into illusion, but let Luo Feiyun be affected too easily. In the end, Jiang Ruoliu used illusion technique to send Luo Feiyun flying. At this moment, in addition to Thunder King Star Sidolei, even King Star Qi Heng and Golden Whip King Star Jin Sudong cannot help but look serious. They are not sure that they can resist Jiang Ruoliu's illusion technique. I didn't expect that after 3 years, the other party's illusion technique can be released through the imposing manner, and it is even more difficult to guard against. In the 3720th game, Jiang Ruoliu once again defeated Gale Young Master Han Yiming, and the power of illusion technique made Han Yiming at a loss. In the 3900th game, Li Fuchen confronted Ting Qingyun. One is the king of dark horses, the other is the head of the 6 young master. This matchup is undoubtedly a super heavyweight matchup, second only to King Star. You are not my opponent. Teng Qingyun indifferently said. Li Fuchen's trump card has been exposed. In addition to defense, the strength is similar to Su Lin. Unfortunately, his purple Qi Divine Needle, the effect of breaking the defense is first class. Specifically restrains Li Fuchen. This is not necessarily. Li Fuchen is calm and unaffected by Teng Qingyun's words. Oh! Teng Qingyun was slightly surprised. Looking at Li Fuchen like this, it seems that there is a trump card. Chapter 309. Without displaying profound level top-rank martial art purple Qi Divine Needle, Teng Qingyun's strength is similar to Su Lin, and it is similar to the strength that Li Fuchen revealed before. Ping ping ping. The dark green bamboo pole and the profound light sword madly hit each other, almost in an instant. The two played a dozen times. Teng Qingyun's face gradually became dignified. Li Fuchen's consciousness was much stronger than he imagined. He wanted to seize the initiative several times, but he was noticed by the other party, but he was caught off guard. If he didn't react quickly, I am afraid I will be at a disadvantage. Consciousness is quite strong. Teng Qingyun's consciousness is naturally far less than Li Fuchen, but Li Fuchen is limited by the physical reaction, and it is impossible to play the role of consciousness to the limit. Can play a very small part is not bad. The dark green bamboo pole was dyed with a layer of purple, and Teng Qingyun instantly displayed the profound level top-rank martial art purple Qi Divine Needle, a move and a style, fierce and exquisite, always able to attack Li Fuchen from an incredible angle. What surprised Teng Qingyun was that his attack could not touch Li Fuchen's body at all. The other party seemed to have foresight and could always avoid in advance. Broken. With true spirit, Teng Qingyun's purple bamboo pole in his hand, slammed into Li Fuchen, and the speed was 30% faster than before. It was the unique skill used to defeat Su Lin before, Purple Qi Rainbow. Teng Qingyun thinks that no one can avoid this move except Thunder King Star Situlei. But obviously, this does not include Li Fuchen. Teng Qingyun inspired true spirit at the moment. Li Fuchen's consciousness has already reacted, and Li Fuchen instantly dodged when the other party's move was not out. The purple bamboo pole pierced the afterimage left by Li Fuchen, and a slender needle-like purple Qi strength spurted out. Avoided! Teng Qingyun's face changed. Horn of Flame Demon. When Teng Qingyun broke out of the unique skill, it was also the moment when it revealed its flaws. At the moment when he dodged the other's unique skill, Li Fuchen was close to Teng Qingyun and stabbed it with a sword. Red one-horned void shadow was as fast as lightning. Teng Qingyun, who used the old move, couldn't dodge at all, and couldn't resist with the bamboo pole. The left hand index and middle fingers were together, and the purple Qi strength was shot, and the red one-horned void shadow was hard. Boom! The explosion of Qi strength, Teng Qingyun flew out, and blood spurted out. This child's consciousness is unimaginable. Teng Qingyun's every move is hard to escape his eyes. In a situation where the offense and defense are about the same, I'm afraid no one is a match for this kid. Outside the Heavenly Dipper Great Array, the shedding body realm martial artist sighed in his heart. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible to cultivate one's consciousness. As one's cultivation level increased, one's consciousness would naturally strengthen. And the root bone is high, the natural consciousness is generally very strong, the same 6-star root bone, the same Earth Fiend Realm peak cultivation base. Teng Qingyun's consciousness is higher than others, but it is obvious that compared with Li Fuchen, Teng Qingyun's consciousness is weaker. Of course, the shedding body realm martial artist didn't know that Li Fuchen's consciousness was much higher than they imagined. It was limited by the body's reaction, and it was not obvious enough. If Li Fuchen has the body reaction of shedding body realm martial artist, it is estimated that as long as 10% or 20% of the strength, you can kill all the absolute heavens chosen, including the 3 king star. One move injured Teng Qingyun, Li Fuchen did not give the other party any chance, and another move came out. Teng Qingyun wanted to dodge, but under the consciousness of Li Fuchen, his every move was expected by Li Fuchen. Puff electric flint, red-colored one-horned void shadow penetrated Teng Qingyun's chest. Li Fuchen wins. Su Lin bit her lip. Obviously, when Li Fuchen fought with her, she didn't come up with 100% of her ability. In most cases, she chose to fight hard with her. If Li Fuchen came up with the ability to fight Teng Qingyun, she could not support a few strokes. Where did she know that before Burning Heaven True Merit broke through to the 17th layer, Li Fuchen's body reaction couldn't support him to fight like this? Later, Burning Heaven True Merit broke through, Li Fuchen wanted to hone Burning Heaven True Merit, continue to choose hard, not deliberately hide this part of the strength. On the Heavenly Dipper Stone Pillar, everyone is almost numb. Even Teng Qingyun, the head of the 6 young master, has been defeated. Under the 3 king star, who is the opponent of Li Fuchen. Perhaps 3 absolute fairy Jiang Ruoliu has a chance, and her illusion technique is brilliant enough to affect the state of Li Fuchen, but it is just a guess. Li Fuchen consciousness is so high, the spirit will is afraid to be equally strong, and the illusion technique can affect. It is still unknown. As for Dragon Sword young master Qi Yuye, most people don't think it is Li Fuchen's opponent. Qi Yuye, no matter how monstrous, also belongs to the rising star. The age is not much older than Li Fuchen, the strength can catch up with Teng Qingyun is already great. Azure Billow sect people are also numb, including Zhao Wei. Li Fuchen's performance is too monstrous. It is more monstrous than the absolute heavens chosen of the apex. To know that Li Fuchen is only 20 years old, when he is 25 or 6 years old, it is not heaven-defying. Since the founding of Azure Billow sect, such a genius has never been seen. Can be accepted as a personal disciple by the first odd martial artist, we all look down on him. Ouyang Wenyan was surprised and delighted. As long as the first odd martial artist is a day, no one dares to move Li Fuchen, and as long as Li Fuchen can live, one day in the future, there is no hope to become an apex shedding body realm martial artist. This is also because Li Fuchen is a 1-star root bone. If Li Fuchen is a 5-star root bone, then the future will definitely become an apex shedding body realm martial artist. At that time, Azure Billow sect does not say whether to become an apex force, at least can laugh at Eastern Lean Continent. The 4,300th game, Teng Qingyun against Jiang Ruoliu. One is the head of the 6 young master, the other is the head of the 4 fairies, and the duel between the two is straight after the Battle of King Star. Losing to Li Fuchen did not make Teng Qingyun depressed, but made his aura much sharper. Ping ping ping. Jiang Ruoliu's illusion technique has little impact on Teng Qingyun, at least it can't make Teng Qingyun's attack deviate, and the ability to grasp the timing is a little worse. After a great war, the two sides are even. Excluding illusion technique, Jiang Ruoliu's strength is inferior to Su Lin, and Teng Qingyun's strength is stronger than Su Lin. Li Fuchen saw all this in his eyes and secretly thought, Teng Qingyun, last time I lost to you, this time, you will lose, Vault of Heaven dance. Jiang Ruoliu's movement technique changed abruptly, as though she was dancing. Her dance was filled with boundless mysteries, as well as an intoxicating aura. More than 90% of the heavens chosen on the heavenly dipper stone pillars felt as though the entire world was filled with Jiang Ruolia dancing. How beautiful, how peerless. Illusion technique is integrated into martial art? Li Fuchen's face was surprised. Under Jiang Ruoliu's illusory dance, Teng Qingyun's consciousness was finally unstable. Jiang Ruoliu was in front of Teng Qingyun, seriously injured Teng Qingyun, and won the victory. Cultivation became illusion technique martial art? Golden Whip King star Jin Sudong's face changed greatly. 3 Absolute Palace, the real fear, is not other martial art, but the most terrible illusion technique martial art. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.